Okay, welcome. Today we are going to talk about due diligence of large plots of lands and buildings in Romania. Actually, in this vlog, I'm going to explain in detail what to do and how to do it, based on a practical case. So, the first thing about digital due diligence that I want to say is that we have taken a farm with 1700 hectares of land, compact land, and buildings as an example. But first, let me explain you the paradigm shift. We've always been doing due diligence with the classical approach, meaning I go on site during 7 to 10 days or more, find out everything according to a worksheet, and then write my report and conclusions and provide the investor with a printed report and a lot of attachments. Basically, I'm giving them like 10 to 20 centimeters of paper. The whole operation takes around 2 to 3 weeks. What happened in COVID is that I had to rethink the whole process of due diligence. And I start a case, the case that I'm presenting now, from a distance, meaning me in Belgium and the land and all the experts around it and the company and the people that can help in the company in Romania. So this basically happened in October 2020, and it gave an uplift in the way of work, meaning thanks to COVID, we changed procedure. We now do the digital due diligence from a distance and gain time, efficiency, and very, very important, we have a substantial reduction of costs. Okay, let's have a look what we do, how we do it from a distance. And for this, we start with an NDA, meaning it's a mandate and an NDA from the investor, so I cannot disclose findings or reports without permission, and I hold a mandate to interact with all the people that we want or experts that we want to question about the land. In that case here, it was a share deal, so the mandate spoke on transfer of shares. So what I then do is, after this, I build a framework with steps, with a structural approach of the due diligence. So it's like, let's say, some guide with chapters that I need to fill in. Yeah, it's the roadmap. Then, when this is done, I start to ask some questions to the seller, and I open a data room, and the data room is actually filled with the same structure as the frame. So as the data are gathered, the data are put in I put the data in the data room under the correct chapter. And the seller has a lot of work to do, a lot of people are involved, yeah, we start all the tasks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, until we have a complete picture, image of the plots and the buildings that they are selling. So the moment that we are doing this, we also allow the buyer, so the guy that is going to get the shares, it was here actually social parts, because not shares, because it was 2 sellers, but okay. And we allow the buyer to follow step for step, and if they want, we can even hold intermediate meetings to comment on findings. As we build the data room for the buyer, we also start to write the report. It's not only about a data room and a lot of chapters with a lot of data, it's also about binding text, about writing a report, commenting the report, giving hints, put points of attention, put things that are not okay, and like this. Or by doing this, I will put it in that way, the buyer actually can follow the progress and also the progress of the report online. Yeah. What we also do, we put some milestones, meaning we, from time to time, here it was every 5 days, meaning every week, we had a Skype conference. Today it's rather going to be a Teams or a Google Meet, whatever, but this was done by Skype. And we then make a milestone where we explain where we are, what did we find, what are the points of attention, what is positive, what is negative, what are the next steps, and so on. And like this, it's recurrent. Actually, at the end of the road, the presentation of the final report is merely pinpointing highlights, because they are already aware of the evolution. And then after 10 to 15 days, we start to structure the report, put more structure in the data room if needed, or adapt, because we find some extra points of investigation and so on. Then, after maximum 21 days, the final report and the final data room are ready. So we then have a final discussion with the buyer, and the buyer can then decide on future steps to acquire the shares, in this case, of the target company. All data are stored in a cloud silo. The silo is shared with the client, as I already mentioned, and a second silo is built with the data for potential buyers. And how does it work with potential buyers? The potential buyer, has some interest. Then, first of all, they have to sign an NDA, which is binding, not disclose anything what you will see in the data room. And then, after signing this, access is granted for potential buyers, and they can evaluate the data in the data room. So, what are the advantages of digital due diligence in Romania? First of all, we don't have to travel to Romania, which is a substantial cost reduction. We can work more accurate, and we do not lose time on site with the seller. It's pretty straightforward. We make a deal with the accountant to get this and that on that time. Then we discuss, we go further, we go to the auditors, we do legal research, we do research on the land, we talk to experts, and so on. So we write better reports by working in that way, and we can go more into detail. Right? It's not the same as being on site. There you have a more general approach, but here we go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, so the quality of the report at the end is much better. In general, the approach that we developed is much faster compared to the classical method that we used before, and it is less expensive. Then, we talk now a lot of principle. Let's be more practical and go on topics. Well, topics are like we touch the Register of Commerce and the Monitor of Romania. We look at the organizational structure of the company. We look at the employees. We gather financial data. We look at the own equity. We look at if there are shareholders' loans that have to be paid back, because if you take shares, I can imagine that you don't want to pay afterwards loans that are pending. We look at bank loans. We look at VAT and taxes. We ask for the certificates to see what is open, if it's paid or not, when was the last VAT control, and so on. We look at the buildings, the paperwork for the buildings, we look at the land. We also look at APIA because here it was agriculture land, so there are subventions. By the way, at this moment, as I'm speaking, is around 200 euro per hectare that you work on. We look at on irrigation because in Romania it's dry. If you do not have water, then you will have a moderate production, and if you have water, you will increase or double, even double your production. We look at the depreciation list of all assets, so detail them with pictures because what you see is what you get in that case. We look at commercial contracts for clients and suppliers, and also very important, we look at law cases, lawsuits against the owners or against the company. Then in this case here we also looked at organic farming, we look at permits, we look at subvention files. You can imagine that if you have done some subvention file and it's not finished, that you want to know if everything is done correctly, because if not, the government will ask the money back. And for sure, this is not a situation that you want to have. We do some observations towards accountancy, we look at fusions. If that was the case, in that case here it was the case. There was some fusions of companies and then 2 companies remained and so on. Is this done correctly? Is this done according to the procedures? Is everything now in effect as it was then imagined and so on? Is there any problem that can be expected and so on and so on and so on? And then we have some general conclusions. So basically I can describe the way that we work as a only on land focused approach, as a only on buildings focused approach. No, we cover all the aspects, legal, land, accountancy, we touch every aspect, so you have a very, very, very complete view of what you are going to acquire. So, voila, I hope that it was useful. I hope that it was clear. If not, feel free to contact me. You have my contact data there. Okay, I put an email address which is not the company. It's an email address that can handle some spam because it's public, but it works. It will come to me. Also put the website for more information. And feel free to contact me. I will be very happy to help you out. Thank you very much and have a great day.